I'll give you 1 minute to go ahead and read the passage. I understand that all of us are good and fast at reading. Uh, don't give the answers just yet. Just read the passage and let me know when you are done. Your 1 minute will start now. So are we done? Yes. Good. Good. So let's go and see about the answers. How long is the Himalayan mountain range? 2,400 kilometers. Good. So is it 2,400 kilometers or is it 1,500 miles? I have selected this question because most of the times you will have an option wherein the answers are very, very similar, wherein it is very important that you guys understand what comes first if two things are given in the option, two correct things are given in the option. Here, the answer will be 2,400 kilometers, option B, because 1,500 miles is just a calculation of what is 2,400 kilometers. Now, if 1,500 miles was outside the bracket and 2,400 kilometers was in a bracket, then option C would be correct. 1,500 miles would be correct. But mainly it is 2,400 kilometers which is given first. Hence, the answer would be B, 2,400 kilometers. Okay, cool. Please don't get confused. Question two: what is the northwest border of the Himalayas? Good, good, good. If you read the passage, you will see we are bordered on the northwest by the Karakoram and the Hindu Kush ranges. It is Karakoram and Hindu Kush, not the Karakoram and Nanga Parbat. Okay, option C is the correct one. How many peaks in the Himalayas are above 8,000 meters above sea level? Question three. Very good. Very good. Yes, Vamshi, you raised your hand. Is there anything that you'd like to say?
Sir, it was by mistake, sir.
Okay, cool. No problem. No problem. In that case, no problem. So, how many peaks in the Himalayas are above 8,000 meters above the sea level? Now, if you see here, it includes 10 of the 14 8,000 meter peaks. So the answer, yes, there are 14 across the globe, but out of them, only 10 are in the Himalayas or part of the Himalayas. So the right option will be A. A small confusion, and we go ahead and get that done. Okay. Question 4. Which word in the passage means the sideways and downward movement of the edge of a plate of the Earth's thrust into the mantle beneath another plate? This will be right here, first part. Once you read this, I'll go ahead and scroll it down. I'll do this as well. Now you can see the passage where it is written and also the question. Okay, there are only two answers. Please read it and give me the answer. Good, good, good. The first thing I would really love to appreciate you guys for is you are actually reading it once again. You're reading it one, two times. I would love to believe everyone is doing it, but yeah, most of you are doing it, so I'm still happy. Lifted by the subduction of the Indian tectonic plate under the Eurasian plate. Here, we are not talking about plates and what their names are. What is that movement of plates called? That is the question. Like most of you understood, the question is what is that movement of plates called? It is called subduction. Okay. Here the answer will be subduction. It is the two plates, tectonic and Eurasian, but the movement is called subduction. Okay. Okay. Cool. So let's go question number 5. Which statement summarizes the information given in the passage? Please read carefully and then give the answer. Please read the passage carefully and then give me the answer. Good, good, good. Now, if you go through the entire passage, you will see that we are talking about the Himalayas, what are in the Himalayas, and mostly we are looking at the uh, geographic boundaries. We are not looking at the barriers. We are not looking what stops or which country stops where, or which segment stops where in the Himalayas. We are talking about the geographic boundary. Okay, so the right option would be option C. It talks about only the geographic boundaries. It doesn't talk about the barriers. It doesn't talk about the winds. It doesn't talk about only Mount Everest. Okay, so okay, passage in Chalvadam is very simple. All of us go ahead and read the passage. All of us make sure that it is decent and all it is quick. Yesterday I told you please practice reading fast Chalvadi. Gattiga Chalvadu, Sundarga in the mind Chalvadi. We are doing all of that, but we shouldn't get confused when a certain question is asked. Andikane, and in the PowerPoint presentation, I told you guys, read the questions carefully, read the options, and then give the answer. Okay, but that is absolutely fine because that is done. Manaki practice లేదు కాబట్టి we are still going ahead and learning it. Not a problem at all. We will do one more passage and then we will move on. కొంచెం clarity రాని. Okay, this is one last thing. Did we do this passage? Did we do this passage? No, we did not. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and do this passage. It's very interesting. One of the most interesting passages that I have by far. So for this, I will give you 90 seconds. 90. Good. So is everyone done? Great, great. So let's go to the questions here. Question number one: why did Mike and his family decide to rest under the peace tree? Okay, good, good, good. Good. Lots of answers. Lots of answers. Thank you so much for that. Uh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, a lot of us have the right answers. Some of us were a bit confused. We'll go option by option. Being a large family, they knew that they could easily defeat the thief. Now, nowhere in the entire passage is there a sentence which supports this sentence. So let's go up. It is eliminated. Two, it was a convenient spot for taking a halt at night. Of course, it says, you see, at night they stopped under a large tree. There was a stream running by where they could freshen themselves. He told his sons to clear the area below the tree. He told his wife to fetch his water and so on and so forth. So we can say option B is okay. Let's keep it aside. See, there was a stream nearby, yes, and wood enough to build a house. Now they say there is wood, but nowhere does it say it is enough wood to go ahead and build a house. Okay, so option C is gone. That was the only large tree that could shelter their large family. We see that there was a tree, and he told his sons to clear the area below it. So they were working on the space. So the right option will be option B. Very good. Which of the following best describes Morris? Now, Morris is the owner of the jewelry shop. Which of the following best describes Morris? Good, good. Good. So the answers have stopped it coming. Oh, sorry, they have stopped coming in. So let's see. Which of the following best describes Morris? He was a rich businessman. Yes, he owned the largest jewelry shop in the village. Okay, let's keep that aside. He bullied his wife. It's not written anywhere. He paid his servants well. Of course, that is also not written anywhere. He was greedy and imitated Mike. Now, these are two things, okay? Compared to he was a rich businessman, which is one. These are two things. So let's see. Greedy and imitated Mike. What sentence supports that Morris was greedy? It was a quick way to earn some money. Okay, that is his first thought, which shows he is greedy. And he ordered his family to pack some clothes and set off on a journey like Mike. Okay, so he was greedy and he imitated Mike. Very good. Thank you so much. Question three. What did Mike mean when he said he is watching all this from above? Good. Very good. In fact, all of you have given me the right answer. What did Mike mean when he said he is watching all this from above? He was telling his wife to have faith in God. Because option A, spotted the thief, not given anywhere. Uh, Option C, it was just a warning for his family members, not given anywhere. He was begging the thief, they didn't even know the thief was there. So option B is right. Question 4. Why did the thief return to the tree? Okay. Now, please understand whenever you're doing a written test or whenever you're doing a reading comprehension or anything like that, please stick to the details given in the passage. Okay. Reading between the lines means trying to understand what the person is saying. It does not mean that we will try to put in our previous experience or past experience into this. Okay. Now, why did the thief return to the tree in the passage? Nowhere is it given that why he returned to it. Okay. To wait for Morris's family, we don't know. To set up a trap, it is not written. To wait for Mike to return is also not written. Why did the thief return? It is not mentioned in there. So option D will be the right option. Okay. And then we have question 5. How did the fellow villagers react to Mike getting rich overnight? The answer to question 5. Very good. Very good. Very good. Good. Now, just let me take you guys a bit up this part of the passage. There was great excitement when they told everyone how they got rich. Right? So the villagers did not get jealous or did not envy him. They were very excited. We live in a city, and of course, our way of thinking is different. But even today, if you go to a village, you will see that people are happy about other people's success in the village. They don't envy or they're not angry on them because they feel he is part of our family and he is growing. Okay? So here the right option will be option B. They were very excited. Right? So most of you got most of the answers right in both or three passages that we did. The more you go ahead and read passages like this, the more easy it will become. I told you yesterday, a reading is very essential. Reading for 5 minutes every day is very essential. If you guys are able to do it, nothing like it. It will not help you only in one company, not for Zensar. It will help you for ever, in fact, if you make a habit of reading. Without your knowledge, you will start speaking the language. Trust me, you will be able to do that. Okay? Because one, of course, it is good. We are trying to make sure that you guys go ahead and get through on your first time itself. When you go ahead and give an interview with Sensor, please understand it is one of the fastest rising companies. And once you get selected and once you complete your education, once you pass according to their requirements, They will give you a 6 month training without taking a single rupee, and they will place you. And trust me, Zensar has one of the best salary packages available. Okay, once you go in, your ability to perform will decide how quickly you go up the ladder. Okay, so please understand this. The more number of people in a company, the harder it is to go ahead and get selected. But when you are at a company which is growing, which is taking in people continually, there is something called a seniority that comes into picture. And very few companies give you training for 6 months on their product. They generally say apprenticeship and they charge you for something. They ask you to do this, do that. But Sensar is not like that. They give you training and then they place you in their own company. So it would be an amazing stepping stone for people who want to start their career. Okay. So that being said, we are done with reading comprehension. Uh, there are a couple of other things that I want to go ahead and do with you guys before we call it a day today. Okay, and that second, yeah, okay, and that is the other thing or other type of questions we will be asked. This is going to be very, very simple. We have something called a sentence correction. We have erection. We have deduction, completion, and so on and so forth. Right? So before I go there, any doubts that you have with reading comprehension? Anything that you want to know more about it before we go on to a new topic? Please type so that I will be able to answer. Okay, so there are two people who have given me an answer. What about the remaining people? Okay, okay, I see that people who want to answer have already answered. However, if there is any problem, you can go ahead and always get in touch with either of us. There are so many people who can answer you. Uh, So let's not waste time in asking questions when you don't want to answer. Okay. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about, uh, sentence correction. This is another topic that you get a lot of questions from in Zensar. Okay. Now these are always based on tense, word flow, sentence flow, and grammar. Okay. So I don't want to go ahead and give you a class on grammar and what all come in grammar because I'm sure you all know about it. Can anyone please tell me what is grammar? I'm sure this is a very simple question. All of us know we have the ability of reading and speaking the language, but someone tell me what does grammar mean? What are the different terms that are in grammar? Very nice. Very good. Good. So correctness of language, study of how words are used to make sentences, structure of a language. There is the set of guidelines, structure in which words are combined, how words change their form and make a language. Very good. Proper systematic way to make sentences. Very right, very right. Now, grammar is a set of rules and regulations on which English is based. Okay. People would know you are good or bad based on how good you use your grammar. Okay. It is the set of guidelines or rules and regulations of the language. How you should write, how you should speak, what should come first, what should come second, and so on and so forth. Now, what are the different things that come in grammar? When we say set of rhymes, guidelines, rules, regulations, what are the different things that come in grammar? Madhuri said parts of speech. She also said tenses. What else? What else comes under grammar? What else should you learn if you want your grammar to be good? We said Okay. Only two or three more things, nothing else. Please think. When we talk about grammar, the first thing our mind says to us is we know so much about grammar. So just trying to brush up on your grammar. What are the different things that come under it? What all can we classify under grammar? Okay. Okay. Ravali has given me a detailed description of what everything, what all comes. Good. Good. So now I know where all we all stand at. Okay. So parts of speech, tenses, you have direct and indirect speech. Like someone said, we have active and passive voice. Okay. We have the most important thing, which is the subject verb. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me how many parts of speech we have? Because that is the first thing that we remember and learn. So, what or how many parts of speech do we have? Cool. So, all of us are giving eight. We are telling what are the different things, which is very, very good. We all remember what we learned in school, which is so amazing. There are nine parts of speech. Got updated. How many tenses do we have? Three, very good. A lot of people will get confused and say 12. We only have three tenses. Uh, they are subdivided. Right? Humera and Roshan both have given me the eight parts of speech, but you need to go online and check. There are nine. The ninth one is called the data miners. Something called data miners have been added into the parts of speech in 2017. We need to update ourselves. Okay. Direct and indirect speech. Can anyone tell me what is direct and indirect speech? The difference? Generalizing and quoting a text. Okay. Wait for a couple of seconds for some other answer. Okay, direct speech, something that is being said now. Indirect speech, something that is being said later or before. In indirect speech, the actual words of the speaker are transformed. Very good. Indirect is about the past. Okay. Good. Interesting. Interesting. Is that it? Very good. We change the text that has already spoken in indirect speech. Very good. So, active voice and passive voice. Can anyone tell me the difference? Very good. Active voice when subject is performing the action, doing the action. Subject comes first in active voice. Object comes first in passive. Very good. Very good. They have a very decent understanding of what everything is. We appreciate it. Passive voice subject revives the action. Very good. Subject acts upon the verb is active voice. Passive voice is verb action. Very good. Google is helping us a lot. Really appreciate Google for it. Good. Good. The reason why I asked you guys this question is not because I wanted to take a class on this subject, or it is not because I wanted to go ahead and teach you something out of the box or out of the blue about it. These things are the base of language, English language. If you don't know, if you don't know what these are correctly, if you have unclear understanding of what these are, life becomes very hard in the interim period. Active voice and passive voice, a lot of people say subject comes first, object comes last in active voice. Object comes first and subject comes last in the passive voice. But the main thing is the verb changes its tense, and a lot of people I see have forgot that. The same thing with direct and indirect speech, the verb changes. However, let's not go ahead and do all of this. I don't want to take you guys to that trauma once again. The reason why I ask is because most of us, the minute we see someone talking about grammar or someone talking about anything else, our brain keeps telling us, "ये तो हमें मालूम है." let's keep that aside. Let's go ahead and see sentence correction because this is entirely based on grammar. How good your grammar is. Okay. Now, please understand when I say sentences correction, you have conclusion, you have completion, and then you have detection. These are the four things that we have in sentences. All of them you either be based on tenses or they'll be based on sentence structuring, which word comes first, which word comes last. Words are doubled at times, and so on and so on. So we see some just to clarify our understanding. Okay. So question number one, if the books have been catalogued last week, why haven't they been placed on the shelf? Good. Apart from one person, all of us have given the right answer. If the books had been catalogued last week, which is option five, why haven't they been placed on the shelf? The one different answer was option four, if the books were catalogued last week. Now, whenever we use were in the first part of the sentence, in the second part of the sentence also, we will by default have to use were only. So, first part lo, if the books were being cataloged or were cataloged last week, second part lo kuda, why weren't they been placed on the shelf of it? So here hadn't or haven't kabatti, it will be had. Question number two. Jessica Mitford wrote The American Way of Death, a best-selling book that led eventually to an official investigation of the human that and which ki teda manaki teliyali. We need to know the difference between that and which. No more answers. Okay, very good. Here we will always use that, will not use which. Okay, first two questions are already done. Very good. Eventually, after being done, still people are giving the wrong answer. Nice, nice. Thank you so much, Rabuni, for telling me that this has been done. Very good, very good. That when you are talking about something in particular, yes, here the book is given. You would use which when a group of things is given, but there is no clarity on which one it is. Jessica Mitford's book. If the sentence went Jessica Mitford's book, a best-selling book that led eventually, then it would have been which. But here it is that. Okay. So we'll do some more questions. Did we do this? This is called finding the error. Huh? Cool. Let's do this. This is where a passage or a sentence is given. It is broken down, and most of the times this is entirely based on parts of speech. Okay. This is entirely based on vocabulary and parts of speech. Question number 21. Can someone give me the answer? Let's go ahead and see what this is. Because there is a slight confusion. Most probably some of you did not see this type of question. The question is given and it is broken down into three parts. Here you can see the road, which is part A. The famous monument is B, passes through a forest C, and D is nowhere. So basically, the sentence reads: the road to famous monument passes through a forest. We just need to see where any word can be placed. If there is a discrepancy in anything. Here, because we are talking about famous monument, you need to use the article the before it. Because we are talking about something in particular. And when you know grammar and parts of speech, a and an are used generally, and the article the is used before any particular thing. So here the answer will be B, the road to the famous monument. Like Rakshita said, it is B. Very good. So 22. So did you get it, dude? Whoa, good. Twenty-two. Our housing society comprises of 6 blocks and 33 flats in an area of about 1,000 square meters. Anyone else? Very good. Thank you so much, Roshan. Okay. Okay. Here again, it is usage of article. The error will be in option D. Okay. You need to use a here of about 1,000 square meters. Which 1,000 square meters we don't know. So it is indefinite. In generalized terms, we use a of about 1,000 square meters. So the right option will be D. 23. Apart from words and mistakes, you will get statements like these, wherein you will have to check for punctuation mark, the correct punctuation mark. 23, no error. Okay. Good. Thank you so much, Rakshita. Uh, Here, now that she is living in her own apartment, option A is not wrong. A lot of people will think that instead of writing she is, if we write apostrophe s, it becomes correct. But whenever you use apostrophe, it either shows something which is plural or which shows ownership. Here, the right option, A will be the right option. There's nothing wrong in it. B, she cleans the windows twice a week in the summer and once a week in the winter. C is also correct. Here, the option where it has a mistake is option B. Like someone actually said, yes, Rakshita said this. There is the comma here. Now, the comma is not required here because she's not talking about two things which follow. She's talking about one thing. She's cleaning the windows. Okay, so here the comma is not required. So 23, the option is B. 24. Good. Thank you so much, Lavanya. I thought you gave me the answer 24 numbers two level. But yes, you are absolutely right. No, is correct. Let's give some time to these other guys to see if they can give the right answer. Question number 24. Good. Here, the mistake will be in option A with a little imagination and enterprise. Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of you have given me the right answer. With a little imagination and enterprise, the tournament could have been transformed into a major attraction. Every other option will be correct. The only place where there is a mistake in the sentence is non-usage of Article A with A little imagination and enterprise. Okay. So, parts of speech, articles, punctuation, tenses, very important. Can we do 25? Please do 25. Good. There are four people who gave me the answers, and all the four of you are right. Right? So, let's see, no one else is answering until everyone else is busy thinking about the answer. That's what they might have been a problem or something. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Meghna. Here, the article the should be replaced with a. These display a remarkable variety. These display the and వచ్చింది. It should not be the. It should be a. Okay. These display a remarkable variety. So the problem will be in option B. The error is in option B. Can we do 26, please? Thank you so much, Kavya. She typed out the entire sentence. Now, the only mistake here is the usage of the article the before Almighty. It is a proper sentence, or sorry, proper noun, and it is a title, and he is unique. So whenever you use the before unique words, it is mandatory. So before Almighty, you will always use the. 27. Roshan has given me the answer. 27. Good, good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. According to the Bible, it is the meek and humble. At the before meek. Very true. Very true. Correct. 28. Good. Before E, you should use any vowel sound, you should use an. So before expensive, you should use an. Good. 29. Okay, good. It says Sunita opened a almirah full of books and took one of them for reading. Here, A should either be replaced by an or the. Okay, a lot of you gave me the answer A, where the mistake is, but uh, because we are talking about particularly an almirah full of books, it would be the. Or on general note also you can use A. Sorry, and. Okay, and or the both will be good. But in error detection, you are not asked to explain why you chose that option to be wrong. It is just for our understanding. Okay, good. 30. Question number 30. Can I get the answer for question number 30? B. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Rakshita. Uh, and of course, everyone else. Uh, Most of the times, we will only be asked to add one word, not more. Okay. So here, it would not be most of the people, it would be most people. However, if they had had a longer notice period, in option D, you should add the, oh, sorry, after had. Okay. So it is A. in option D, after had, you should use A. Okay. Question number 31. We have mixed answers. Thank you, speaker. You've given a right answer. Prerna has given me the right answer. Pravya again has typed the entire thing. Thank you so much. All right. The mistake is in option B. Uh, my father is in a bad mood today. You need to use A. Okay. So great, great. All of you have answered so very well. Now, if you see from question 32 through 41, okay, these are the kind of questions you might or might not get, but it is a very, very rarity to get a question like this. You are asked to go ahead and correct it. It is called sentence correction. Here, the entire emphasis will only be on punctuation. Okay, where is the full stop required? Where is the apostrophe required? Okay, where is the spelling? What words are missing? Okay, what exactly should we type with spellings? So all of these get into are taken into consideration. Okay, so this is one type of question that you will get. Okay. Now we are not going to do this because I'm sure we all know the punctuations and spellings. We are not from class 6 or 7 to talk about punctuation. We all know what is an apostrophe, where to use a comma, and so on and so forth. Okay. So let's not go ahead and look or concentrate more on that. Okay. So cool. So let's stop the share at here. Now, how many types of punctuations do we have, by the way? How many should we use generally? Good. Good. Maybe. Okay. Maybe is a nice word to use. Oh, oh. Thank you so much, Roshan. You generally have 14 punctuation marks that we should generally use, out of which we hardly use 6. And when writing, we only use 2. Okay. Even when you're asking a question in a hurry, we use the ellipsis. We don't use a question mark. When we have to use an exclamation mark, even then we use an ellipsis. When we have to use one punctuation mark, we use 3 or 4 of them just to show our stress on. So please do go ahead and understand that when you are writing professionally or when you are typing professionally, which you would be doing now, please remember punctuations. very, very essential. You should know where to use a comma, where to use a colon, where to use a semicolon. You should know where to use brackets, where you should use spaces, and so on and so forth. But let's not discuss about it because I'm sure all of us know about it. So, do we have any kind of doubt in regards to sentences, sentence correction, sentence completions, error detection? Any doubts that anyone wants to clarify? No doubts as of now. Okay. Cool. How to improve error detection? The easier way of learning error detection is when you are able to focus on what you are reading. Until and unless you know what is the right way of reading something or writing something, it becomes very hard for us to find the error in it. Okay. So again, I would say, please read. The more you read, the easier language will become. Uh, when I say easier, it will become very, very easy when you start doing something regularly. If you don't do it regularly, that is when we have an issue. Like, for example, take your parts of speech. All of us read in school, all of us were taught in school 8, and we still remember them to be 8. We were told active voice in the subject will come in the beginning, object will come in the end. In passive voice, object will come in the beginning, subject will come in the end. Even today, we remember it. However, we haven't gone forward, right? Are we still using the Nokia 6600 that we used when you guys were in your class 10? Are we still using the same software that we used to use 10 years back? We don't, right? We have gone ahead and improved. Do you see Maruti 800 cars anymore on the main road? You hardly find a Maruti 800 because everyone has gone forward. Everyone has advanced themselves. Everyone has made themselves better. Initially, when if we take technology in 96, 97, there used to be only two phones, Motorola and we had Nokia. Now, these phones were so big that you could actually throw the phone at someone and you could be taken to the police station because it was attempt to murder. But today, we have phones which do so many things.